So, it all started about 2 weeks ago when I came across a game jam called the Very Serious Game Jam. It caught my attention and I decided I want to join. One of my favorite YouTubers, JuniperDev, was hosting it, which made it even more exciting. As you probably know, or maybe you don't know, I am absolutely passionate about game development and programming. And that's how our adventure of creating a very serious game began. So let me share this whole experience with you. If you've never heard of a game jam before, it's basically a challenge where you have a few days to make a game from scratch based on a random theme. Sounds simple until you actually try it. Anyway, here's how we made our game for the very serious JuniperDev game jam. When the theme was finally revealed, I was honestly a little surprised. The theme was Spin to Win. It's definitely an unusual theme, but it's also really creative and I like it. We had 7 days to make the game, but things didn't exactly go according to plan. Just a few hours after the team announcement, I accidentally dropped my phone and completely shattered the display. So yeah, I basically didn't have a phone anymore. Good news, it took fucking 3 whole days before I could get it fixed, meaning I had only about 4 days left to finish the game. On the first day, my team and I came up with a pretty decent idea. At first, we thought about making some kind of gambling game since that fit the theme, but we simply didn't have enough time. Yeah, then we remembered armadillos. When they feel threatened, they curl up into a ball and spin. So we realized we could use that as our interpretation of spin. Yeah, it's actually the theme, I think. Maybe it's not the greatest idea ever, but here's what we came up with. Actually, let me explain the idea for you. The game is an endless runner, where you play as an armadillo. Whenever you approach an obstacle, a random arrow key appears above it. If the player presses the correct key in time, the armadillo spins and successfully get past the obstacle. It's easy, right? I don't think so. We planned 3 different obstacle types. The first one is a fallen tree trunk with a hole underneath it. When the armadillo spins, it rolls through the hole safely. The second is a toy crocodile. If the player presses the wrong key, the armadillo jumps right into the mouth and dies. So the correct solution is to jump over instead. The third obstacle is a set of fragile toys. As you approach them, the game briefly switches into a cinematic slow motion moment. And if you press the correct key, the armadillo smashes through of them before continuing. To be honest, we spent most of the day refining ideas instead of actually building the game. So that left us with only about 3 real development days. I finished a random key system that displays different arrow keys above obstacles. I also built a chunk spawning system for generating the level. The idea is simple. I created several level chunks and the game randomly places them one after another during gameplay. By the end of the day 1, most of the core gameplay system were working. The first thing I made on day 2 was the fallen tree obstacle. Honestly, it didn't look amazing on its own, but once I added to the game, it actually fit pretty well. After that, I designed the main character, the armadillo, and I was really happy with how it turned out. At this point, the project was roughly 50% complete. Unfortunately, there was one huge problem. I had only fucking 1 day left. Near the end of day 2, I finally received all the game art from my teammates, and it was time for the final sprint. I had a ton of work left to do. I still needed to add the breakable toys, creating the menus, polish the gameplay, and implement visual effects. First, I improved the arrow keys icon to make them look nicer. Then I added more details to the background. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the entire game takes place inside the toy store. After that, I imported the final background art, and I think it turned out really well. Next, I drew a few tables that would be used as toy set. Finally, I implemented the breakable toys, and you can see the result for yourselves. After that, I finished the menus, and the game was finally complete. Man, I know it's not a serious game, but I didn't have enough time. Forgive me. So that's the story behind this project. I like to give a huge thank you to JuniperDev for hosting such a fun game jam. And thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this kind of content, I really appreciate it if you subscribe, man. See you in the next time.